Yo, Drew, welcome into the building. It's good to see you. You with your boy Revenue Mentor.
I am. How's it
Drew,
going? Excited to be here. Excited to finally talk. I know it's been difficult to get here, but excited to finally get to speak with you.
so before we hopped on the recording just now, right? I got a
Hmm.
chance to finally like catch up with you, retouch with you.
Yeah.
And the thing about us personally is that I think that since I've met you, we haven't stopped talking, which in my mind shows
Oh,
that
definitely not.
we it shows a couple things. It shows that like you as an individual, you're much younger than I am, right? And in my mind, that shows that you're able to balance important relationships, which shows me that you have a strength in networking already. That's
We're
really good, especially for what the things that you want to do.
Yeah, I definitely value networking, and I think meeting interesting people has always been something that I've found incredibly interesting. And I just like talking to people. I think I said that when we met, and figuring out something to learn from everybody has been huge for me.
Literally. And I remember when I first met you, I was like at the Hard Rock, and I literally thought you were of like a different life, right? You know, you're a kid in college, but I thought you were like a debutante almost. Like you're just kind of out there. I think you had like a white dress flowing and stuff.
I did, yeah. I was
Yeah,
going to the all-American look was what we were working on for that for the finale of the Dare competition.
very cool. And like your whole aura just seemed like you had already succeeded in life, like financially. It seemed like you were already well off. Like I'm talking like it felt like you were like a multi-millionaire status type of person. And
That's the goal. That's the goal.
and that's your aura, your swag. You know, that's kind of who you are. And I think that's really dope about the Drew lifestyle that we're about to talk about, man. So the tell people how we met and what we were doing at that time.
Yeah, so I was, long story short, I go to University of Cincinnati, and I'm one of the students that does co-op every 4 months. So every 4 months I move to a new place, work for about 4 months, and then go back and do school for 4 months, and it just switches off constantly. So I'm never taking a semester off. I'm always doing something. And I was lucky enough to be in Miami, Florida for my co-op for the summer. So I was actually working on a wearable technology project where I was helping design some of that for a company in Hollywood, Florida. And I kind of got thrown into doing the Dare Bikini competition because I was actually there to support a friend with a bunch of my friends. And I was approached by one of the managers, and he said, "Are you modeling today?" And I said, "No, I don't know anything about this." And he said, "Well, you are now." And he walked me straight up to the registration desk and signed me up.
No.
And I walked that day in a $3 bikini and some Sheen heels, I'm pretty sure, which was pretty exciting, And they called me back, and I ended up placing in one of the competitions. And then when we met, it was actually the finale. So I had flown in from Cincinnati to be there that day. And to work with Capistan and you to be able to compete for any of the titles that were given out, which was so exciting that I even got the opportunity of being from not a modeling background and not a bikini comp background, and being called to the finals. That was awesome.
Yo, literally. So shout out to Caperstan, shout out to you,
Oh, hell
shout
yeah.
out to your friends. God, I remember, I think Stephanie and Natalia, shout out to them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, they're my favorite people ever, and I'm excited. Stephanie's actually coming out to visit me here soon, and I'm really excited about that.
That's beautiful, man. You guys, you're good friends. That is important to have in your life.
Oh my gosh, for sure. And I mean, even not only networking for connections, but networking for people that'll be your support group and you're able to be there for is so important.
There you go. So my perception of you at that time was a model. Like I'm just thinking, okay, Drew's a model. I don't know a whole lot about Drew yet. And then the only way that I found out about the things that I was just talking to you about
Mhm.
is by doing a little deep dive on your link
Mhm.
tree or
Yeah,
link to
yeah.
me, right? And by
Mhm.
going through all that stuff, I was able to kind of read all the value that you are as an individual and kind of figure out the inner workings of who you are. Because right now, there's a couple different things going on, right? You
Mhm.
are a beautiful girl. You do modeling. That does work out well. However, you're probably also realizing I'm also a very smart person. I am a college student. I'm educated with all these skills. So extrapolating the value out of myself in 2025 is the obvious route, and that's what I want to do. And I'm kind of running some ideas here on how to pull the most value out of you for you to run your own successful online e-commerce thing. And I think you've done a good job at displaying who you are. And I wanted to go over those things with you first, and then kind
Mhm.
of describe what I see in someone in at your age. Because I'm telling you straight up, from my opinion, it's cool to see you're working for the gun company. It's cool to see you're working for 6 Hour. That's a name brand gun company, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I told you right before we got on this call, I think based on your skill sets, you remind me of me a lot because you have every skill and you're clearly able to bring it to life. How long do you spend on the computer, let's say like building a website that demonstrates your portfolio,
Oh
modeling?
gosh.
How long does that stuff take?
I've been, I mean, honestly, I've been working on my design portfolio for years now. I do that with the school. So that's kind of just a building project that goes on and on. But I'd say the first time that I spent working on it, I actually do my websites myself. So that would probably be, it took me about 3 months to get fully set up and running for the design portfolio. The modeling portfolio is a lot easier. But yeah, probably 3 months. And then every once in a while, I'll spend a couple hours on it just to keep it updated and fresh for any potential jobs that I might get offered.
And it's working well because I was in your shoes. So what you have is the gift of intellect and ability, right? So you're very smart, but the way that I'm reading all your stuff here, which is good, but intellect doesn't always equal cash, and you have a lot of
Mhm.
ability, and ability in a market that doesn't see your ability doesn't always equal cash. But you
Mhm.
are worth a lot. You are money, is what I'm seeing in you. You've gone out of your way to display such high talents in and of yourself that you're communicating who I am and how I am valuable to the world. In my opinion, if we can pull that in the long term of the conversation, is if we could pull that focus in,
Mhm.
you'll be able to shrink down all the things that you've been able to display.
Mhm.
When you shrink it down, it'll almost be like Drew, will be able to convey my value to the market
Mhm.
in the same way a restaurant menu conveys food to a person who's sitting down.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
I will be able to, condense all these different things that I have
Mhm.
into three purchasable options or something like that.
Mhm.
And the world can see, oh, when I see Drew, I don't even have to think about Drew's value. She's so consistent in displaying her value through content and all these things. I immediately want to give my dollar to her because I know I'm getting so much value out of it.
Mhm.
And that is kind of the premises of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today. And that's what Revenue Mentor is all about. And that, obviously, I'm working with you all the way because the whole purpose of this is to communicate your value. And what happens is like a lot of people know how to build websites, fill
Mhm.
out the blanks, fill out the buy the domains, build out the brand to some degree, upload
Mhm.
the pictures, upload the content. But then the issue becomes, okay, I filled out everything now, but
Mhm.
how do I get the customers to see to give the dollar for me to give, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
where the disconnect is. But the disconnect is like that way for a reason. The
Yeah.
disconnect like that is currently built into the current college that you're currently attending right now. And every
Mhm.
single college and every single education system and every single institution doesn't challenge, it tells you what to think and what to do, but not how to think and how to do.
Yeah.
And you know how to get things done because you like that's why I said you outprice the market. You have gone to great lengths. Here, I'm gonna pull up your Instagram for myself. You've gone to great
Yeah.
lengths
Please do.
to display your abilities, right?
Mhm.
So, but if I go to your Instagram, right, the first thing that I would think as just any dude on the internet is Drew is a model. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side because that's gonna be important later. Drew
Mhm.
is conveying she's beautiful. Um, dresses very well, looks very nice, very in shape, has a great body. In stark contrast to the Drew that I'm talking to on the screen right now. Very, very much a professional. Um, and these are the two worlds that we're dabbling in between Instagram and real life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it's obvious to say that you need a brand, right? Remember that when you met me out there, you met me as matchmaker, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. It came across so strong and it was so impressive and professional.
appreciate that, man. So the matchmaker is a series of things condensed down to convey
Mhm.
my value to the world. So you don't need to think about it. You just know what I'm doing and what it is, right?
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
the level that you're at. That's the level that you're at. And that's the level that like if we shift around a couple perceptions,
Hmm.
your online presence is going to be banging all of 2025 and further. You know, so let me ask you this. On your Instagram, these followers that you have, they all came just from these pictures you posted. They've all came from just being modeling, being a pretty girl, putting out lifestyle stuff.
So it was kind of a funny story. I only had about 4,000 followers when I came to Florida.
Mhm.
And I woke up, I think it was 4th of July. And I think if you ask Stephanie, she was, or Priscilla was another one of my friends. Stephanie and Priscilla both know about this. Um, but there was one random day where I just started getting a whole bunch of followers and we couldn't figure out why. And it wasn't really something I did, but I, gained 1,000 followers or something. And then from there, every time I did a Dare event or I did Redneck Brawl in Ohio or a whole bunch of that, I think that kind of helped spiral it off. But I think um, that first day where I got, another 1,000, it seemed to like shift it in a way that more people just started to come in, which was really interesting.
I agree with that because to add to what you're saying, when I was out there and I was networking and I was tagging people
Mhm.
and putting them on the videos and tagging all the
Mhm.
people in the stories, my views were skyrocketing. So
Yeah,
that application, my engagement, which is human activity, was
yeah,
skyrocketing because humans really were curious to know what's going on. And that's
exactly.
really good, right? Building curiosity or displaying a portfolio or demonstrating a story, right?
Hmm.
And I think that you are a natural. So and before I go into explaining that you are a natural, tell me
Yeah, just to know more.
tell me why you think I'm picking up on that. Why do you think that I think that? Why am I saying that?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I try to be authentic in everything I do. That's a really big thing for me is I really want to display myself as genuine and real because I am, and I think a lot of people when I tell them about my life and everything I do, they're like, "There's no way that all of that is things you do or things you've done." Um, so I think a really big part of that for me is just maintaining authenticity and just being humble about things and um really proving to myself that I can keep getting better and better along the way and not settling, I think is a big thing for me too.
And I can confirm for everyone that's watching, I can add to her point of being authentic. You do come off very authentic. And
Good.
not only do you come off very authentic, and not only do I think you're very authentic, but authenticity is almost these days the highest form of currency on the internet in whether or not people are going to ever continue engaging with you at all. So you're naturally able to communicate authenticity, and that is
Mhm.
rare and far and few between. And I think that is one of your strengths, right? I think that your strength is like gonna always kind of be in that area. And if you ever feel that things are getting hard in that area, if you ever feel like you're dealing with pressures, come and talk to me. Call me off these cameras, right? Talk to me
You've
behind the scenes. I got you.
you've been so helpful with everything else and so kind to just talking to me and maintaining a genuine relationship. That's been amazing.
Hell yeah, man. And then the other things that I was just telling you that I personally like about your personal brand, which is just the way you convey Drew,
Mhm.
yourself on the internet, is the patriotism, man. I cannot even tell you how much I love that. That's like I said, it's like a natural love for the way that you present yourself that I think all the patriots in America share. Like it's like if you were to convey the archetype of what you love in your country, these all-American things, these all-American values are very fundamental, very relatable, and very important.
I definitely grew up so I have a very strong family that I come from. And my dad grew up as a farm boy, and he didn't have any sons. He just had two daughters. And I ended up being, the honorary son in the family. And he's definitely a hardcore country boy. And I think I definitely picked up on that as I was growing up. So I definitely have the modeling side of me, the side that can show up to an event and look really put together and professional. But I also definitely have the side of me that's, camo and country and that's the side you typically see if you know me as a close friend.
There you go. And I agree with that. And I think that it's pretty clear that you must have had a good upbringing from your father, which is very good in life in general, right?
Hmm.
Now, when I go through your social media content and I see like your LinkedIn profile and I see your ability to you're designing construction tools or something like that.
So I was supposed to get to college in 2020 when everything kind of fell apart. So I ended up taking a gap year to do construction and to do a design internship, which is what I was going into for school. So I did forestry, carpentry, a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of electrical, doing 6 short-term cabins that eventually became part of my parents' business. But I was actually out there working and building, which was really fun. Um, and then what I ended up doing is I did a line of tool bags for a company in Chicago, which is part of the reason I'm patent pending. And then I was able to do 2 co-ops with Milwaukee Tool. I worked on demo hammers and outdoor power equipment, which is stuff that I had already worked on when I was worked with when I was doing construction. So that was really awesome because it was something I had a background in. But coming to Milwaukee, I walked in with a bow in my hair and wore skirts some days and stuff like that, and that definitely was interesting dynamic clashing with the culture because one of my favorite days is I had a mentor there who knew I knew what I was talking about, and I walked in and I was talking to a couple of the engineers, and they were talking about something and a product we were doing, and my boss goes, "Drew, what do you think?" And the engineers kind of looked at me and they're like, "Why are you asking her?" And I was able to give them a rundown on everything we were working on and talk genuinely about the product that I've used before when I wasn't working for them. And that was just one of those days where I'm like, it was funny to see the two different sides of my personality come out and kind of clash like that. But
That that is funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you ask anyone, they'll say they know me for Milwaukee and being a country girl. Besides all the modeling stuff.
Oh, so the modeling stuff, right? Okay, so we have the construction side and we have the engineering side, engineering braid. Do you know how to use CAD, AutoCAD, CAD, all that stuff?
I know how to use a whole bunch of different programs. I do SolidWorks. I've done a little bit of Rhino. I know Fusion. I know Blender. I know 3D modeling software. I know all the Adobe Suite stuff because I do a lot of hand drawings and renderings. And then I'm also able to use rendering things like Keyshot, which is really cool too.
So for simplicity's sake, you have the mind of an engineer, right? You might not have had
Um,
years in engineering, but you know how to
it's sort
build
of like it's sort of like
product
engineering, but
mock-ups.
without it's sort of like engineering, but without a lot of the math. So I'm doing a lot more of the innovation side, the invention and innovation side of, math maybe might say, math and engineers might say we can't do something, but I'm going to tell you that we can figure out a way to do it.
So what you do is what actually matters in the world, while academia is filled with bullshit. I got you. I have my degree too. Trust me, I know all about academia. Yes, you should go get your degree, but yes, also college is a fucking scam.
Life skills are important too. Life
Yeah,
skills are
you gotta
important.
have the life skills that matter.
Yep. You can apply those anywhere.
Get your degree, but just know you're taking a bullet.
You're going to learn other things while you're learning your degree. The college classes might be a little bit annoying and frustrating, but you'll learn a lot while you're there.
So your modeling portfolio here, did this modeling portfolio occur since I've met you? Or like before?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was gonna say I can't tell by looking at it. I was like, I think I actually took some of these pictures when I see it.
You probably have. Yeah. So that kind of was the same thing. I just kind of fell into that. Somebody scouted me and said, "You need to come out and take some photos for us. We'll help kind of mentor you with some of the modeling stuff." They've kind of taken a little bit of a backseat with helping me out because I don't really have a manager at the moment because I move every 4 months. But it was definitely something that I'm able to send to companies that I'm trying to work with now, which has been super helpful.
Okay. So right there in and of itself, there is a lot of value that comes out of you because like you were able to erect a modeling career like pretty much out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Just it popped up.
I don't know if I'd call it a career yet, but we're working towards that for sure.
Brand. We're working towards that. Sir. Got you. Like I find something. I am plugged in. Like for example, let's where I'm going with this right now.
Hmm.
That let's talk about the modeling thing.
Hmm.
Let's say that you had put a little bit more time into this and you
Hmm.
came here to Miami and you
Hmm.
said, Yo, Chris, I understand that I can convey value to girls by
Hmm.
telling them that they're very ugly and making them very beautiful. Or like I now have learned how to walk and I can teach girls how to do X, Y, Z into walking, right?
Mhm.
If you came and you said that you wanted to do that, I'm plugged in enough to be like, yo, I can have 10 or 20 or 30 different people that are customers that want to like come and do a free meetup with you. You
Oh,
pitch
wow.
yourself to everybody and then do another event that's paid where everybody like paid to come and learn from you kind of thing, right? And
Wow.
that's just that's just one of your skills that you have the ability to convey right now. And I I gotta be honest. I think that you fall into a lot of different things. Let me ask you this. How do you feel about interior design at all?
So, interior's always been interesting to me because a cool thing about product design that I'm doing is it sort of is a interior design is sort of like a subculture of product design.
Right.
A lot of product designers end up doing interiors of cars and airplanes and any type of mobility like that. And then a lot of them end up doing interior design later in life. So it's definitely something that I could track to. I don't know if it's ever been something I've considered tracking to directly, because right now I'm more focused on cars and mobility and bikes and things like that. And then also just hard product.
Dude, literally. So, like, okay, let's say that I was gonna push you into like extracting the value out of who you are as a brand, right?
Mhm.
The reason I created Revenue Mentor and why that's working is for a couple reasons, right? And also the reason I created Matchmaker and Matchmaker is built into Revenue Mentor is for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
One, I got hacked, so I had to rebrand for
Oh
Instagram.
my gosh. Yeah,
And
that looked terrible.
at the moment, the way Instagram is treating me is that I can't use the word matchmaker associated with me at all right now because it's flagged. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on with that. So I just changed it around a little bit because the way I had designed matchmaker was for people to come together and upon coming together, if you want to take a relationship seriously, you need to have the financial ability to sustain a relationship, right? So
Hmm.
what I was doing is putting people in the matches, and I'm also training the guys on how to like make sure that they have the ability to sustain a career and longevity before you go into a world where you're ready to date. But
Interesting.
when they banned my account there, I just flipped the business model. So Revenue Mentor, instead of dating and then getting sustained, now it's getting sustained and then dating, right? So I flipped it.
Yeah.
So everything in the back of the company is now in the front of the company, and everything in the front of the
Interesting.
company is now in the back of the company. But I'm still able to do what you're gifted at. You know what I think you're gifted at is structure. I think you're a very structured person. So I think authenticity and structure is right up your alley. Which do you agree with this, or what do you think?
I'm I'm a very ADHD person, which I think is part of the reason I do so many different things. So I'm kind of all over the place in things I'm interested in, but I think to be able to do that, I have to be structured, and I think that's probably where that comes in.
What that reminds me of is like, let's say fighting or working out or
Mhm.
the disciplines of exercise.
Mhm.
Your stomach is
Yeah.
your core is your focus, and
Uh-huh.
your focus is where money comes from. Your
Okay.
focus is where business comes from. The
Mhm.
focus is where the best of Drew comes from. And the more that you're able to focus in on what you believe, change your words around because you're in business, right? Sorry, am I
Mhm.
blurring out here? Come
Yeah,
back.
a little bit.
Come back. I don't even know what happened. All right, you see me on this other camera? Sleep.
Yep, got
I
you.
in that world of like having multiple skills and feeling like you are all over the place, you probably are all over the place. I get it. That's very real. But at the same time, the more that you're able to focus in, the more that we are able to extract the value out of what you provide to the world. So
Interesting.
why do you have so many different things on your link me? I perceive it as structure, but what do you perceive it as?
I do think it's structured because I can kind of define all of the different categories and be able to direct people to the correct thing when I'm meeting them. I do have a lot of things that I'm able to, put up on my phone when I'm meeting somebody, and I'm like, "Hey, this is my link to my modeling portfolio, or this is a link to my design portfolio," and I'm able to do that directly, which is really nice. But I think having it all in one hub, but separated into those specific categories for my Instagram, just makes it easy for people that are kind of looking into me and are interested in me.
Very good. So I'm going to walk you through a mathematical like conclusion here, right?
Yeah.
So the reason Revenue Mentor exists as a representation of what I'm putting out into the market is because I've identified that like not at that exact building, but a building over here is filled with a podcast. You probably heard of the Fresh and Fit podcast. Shout out to the boys.
Fresh and Fit is awesome. They invited me on, but unfortunately I wasn't in Florida.
Yeah, I invited you on, man.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
go back, girl. Let's go.
I might have a few trips planned, so I'll have to let you know
We'll make
if
that
I'm coming.
happen. In doing that, what I've learned is that there are men there that are currently working that are not good at sales, but
Hmm.
I'm trained in sales. They're not good in marketing. I do marketing. They don't know how to do advertising. I built a career in advertising, networking, speed dating, e-commerce. These are all things that I know how to do, and they come so easy for me that it's like this much of my energy and ability to put that out there into the world, but
Yeah.
I'm giving you the most maximum quality of it so that
Hmm.
when we talk about it, you're extracting the most value from it. And
Interesting.
value is what drives the consumer market. That's
Yeah.
what people be like, oh, I don't even have to think about why I would give $1 to you. Now, for my life, it went from content creation to
Hmm.
making so much content that now I have an overload of content. Then it went to e-commerce.
Okay.
E-commerce was very much, you realize quickly that when you're spending money, you're spending advertising dollars to the female consumer because the
Mhm.
majority of the people online buying things in e-commerce are women. You'll find that out pretty quickly with your data, depending on what you
Yeah,
niche down on.
that
So
makes sense.
my strategy went from like building stores to then building boutiques to match the woman. Then it
Hmm.
went from boutiques to like wedding rings and wedding stuff to then I said, well, in my life as a guy, I've never had difficulty in the world of dating. I never had difficulty with like interacting with girls and stuff. But I am now seeing that we're in a world where men are having this issue, and
Hmm.
that kind of sparked the idea for Matchmaker, right? So
Hmm.
it went from serving value to now serving value for both parties. And Matchmaker works very well because if people start having kids from Matchmaker
Hmm.
and they're watching the Fresh and Fit podcast, which gives you the structure on how to dating, but
Hmm.
like in a way that's kind of very jarring. So
Hmm.
like they'll give you the structure, but I'm also creating the unit. That's good because not only it's like the opposite of a condom company, right? A condom company kills its future customer, whereas
Hmm.
I'm creating a future customer with the
Hmm.
ideology of the business,
Hmm.
right?
You're playing the long game. It's a great plan.
There you go. So that is the design of like extracting value, and where that fits into, right?
Hmm.
But then when I was looking at your thing, that the reason I thought about interior design is I'm like, well, ladies tend to favor that area. So I need to know a little bit more about Drew. I need to
Yeah.
know a little bit more about who you are, what you like, what you're doing with your life, what
Hmm.
matters to you, so that
Hmm.
if you were to build a brand, the brand in and of itself, for everything that is generated, for every time that you spend with people, you're
Hmm.
not like what a traditional job does is a traditional job sets aside like your pay package, right? So
Yeah.
let's say that your pay package is like $100,000 a year. They already have that money set up right
Hmm.
there, waiting to go, and then they drip it into your bank account through direct deposit with all the taxes and shit. And
Hmm.
usually what happens is there's so many times where you'll either be stuck doing the same thing every day, or you're able to convey value, but sometimes your value is again outpriced in the market. So you can demonstrate higher value, but there's no position for you to be promoted to.
Hmm.
So, if you need the promotion, it doesn't incentivize you, or if you need more money, sometimes they can't go beyond the budget.
Hmm.
But with the way branding is set up, you can do unlimited scaling, right?
Hmm.
So what that means is that you could put your energy into an unlimited scaling upwards, whereas the other style is kind of dripping, but obviously there's scenarios where you got to do this one and that one
Hmm.
at the same time, right?
Hmm.
So who are you? Who's Drew? What you got going on, girl? Who do you
Um,
want to be in this world?
well, that's such a broad question. Ever since I was little, I knew, I really planned on doing something great. I feel like, I was raised on hard work. That was a big thing. And, working hard is never enough. You got to just continue to do it. And I'm never satisfied with where I'm at. I'm always trying to learn something new or do something new or be part of something new. And I, as a person, really value my morals and not. changing who I am for something that, um, might not be end goal, that kind of thing. And authenticity, like I said, is such a huge thing for me. I really want my own business in the end. I don't know how I'm going to end up doing that, whether that's product design or building a brand like we're talking about. I think I'm trying to set myself up for a bunch of different avenues to eventually do that.
Mhm.
That's the ultimate goal. And, I just want to be at a point in my life where I'm happy and continuing to learn and continuing to kind of be the best version of who I can be.
There you go. So I'm going to use myself with a couple examples in my own personal experience
Mhm.
to kind of see where you are in this area, right?
Yeah.
Like at this moment in time, I have no credit card debt. So if you have credit card debt, you're going to want to pay that off, right?
Hmm.
I don't even have a car payment because I purchased my car outright because that was my goal. So my goal was to have college done,
Yeah.
credit cards paid off, buy a car, no car payment.
Hmm.
This apartment right here, this is a beautiful place, but I'm renting this.
Hmm.
So I don't have any real financial commitment to it outside of profits, right? So
Hmm.
the company that I have, that money, it just goes into rent. And then after rent, I'm in full profitability, right?
Hmm.
And then at the same time, the way I was discussing, like getting some units where you have the tenants pay rent, that
Hmm.
also put me in full profitability. So I, in this strategy, value my time
Hmm.
so much that I want to use my money to get my time back because when I have my time back, I can be of greater service to the people of the world that I work with, right? Or
Yeah.
talk to. Because my time was so freed up, I was able to meet you. And that's very valuable to me,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least. I don't know if everybody likes you, but I do.
I appreciate that.
I'm kidding, man. I'm sure you don't have beef with anybody, right?
I consider myself a really, really peaceful person. I don't hold a grudge and I don't think it's worth it to hold a grudge. So,
Very. So you definitely want a business of your own.
Mhm.
Like you are a walking business already. We're gonna kind of pull that out of you. I'm gonna give you some ideas that I have here. And
Okay.
then on top of that, what personally motivates you? Do you want to live in an apartment? Do you want to buy a house? Do you know what you want next? Do you think you
So,
want marriage to kind of handle all of those things? Are you going
yeah.
in kind of girl route? Do you know what area you'd want to be in? So like
Yeah.
start describing your dream life.
So, obviously, with family being such a big thing for me growing up, I know I want that. I would love to have a stable relationship before, I'm 30. That would be great. I'm in something really happy right now, which is awesome. And being the country girl I am, I would love to have a big piece of land with some animals. I grew up as an animal person. We've always had giant dogs and cats, and I worked at a horse rescue growing up. And I've ridden since I was about 3, so that would be something that's a huge goal for me is to eventually be able to have that. And yeah, just being able to do all the volunteer work I want to do. That's been a huge thing for me. So having time is really, really important. And then being able to just be comfortable. That's really important to me.
These things are so authentic that if I was consuming content from anywhere that you post it, these
Hmm.
are things you should be saying. These
Okay.
these kind of things in a video would make me connect to you in a very
Hmm.
genuine way. So
Hmm.
like when I just sent you the in the chat right now,
Hmm.
there's three ways to make money online, right? You offer services,
And
you
I
sell
am
products.
so sorry, but I do have that dinner at 7, so we might have to cut the call short, but I have time this weekend if you'd like to continue.
No problem, no problem. I got you. I understood that coming into this, so don't feel
Okay.
bad about that, right?
Awesome. Because, yeah, I probably got to start getting ready at like 6:30, but
I'll do the best I can to get you the idea of where we're going with this, right?
perfect.
So let's say like that you sell products, you sell services, and you do
Mhm.
crowdfunding. The land is easily something that you match off in the crowdfunding way,
Mhm.
because crowdfunding, let's say that you were to do in your link me's, if you were scaling them down and one of your call to actions was to donate or raise money to have land in which you can help animals, who
Mhm.
the hell wouldn't want to help you to that goal, right? So I think that you definitely need crowdfunding in your link me
Mhm.
to get land because that helps make Drew's life better, right?
Mhm.
The other thing that wanted to kind of say to you is that your ability to use Fusion and Blender and all these different things that you do, man. It's like Fusion, Blender, the Adobe, all those things. That is probably your strongest skill set. So just the way in which Revenue Mentor offers sales, advertising, and marketing,
Mhm,
I think you should consider because what happens on the internet is you spend advertising dollars to identify a consumer that you can help. And if
mhm,
you make a video saying, if you're looking to learn how to make a teacup in
mhm,
Blender, join,
mhm,
I'll give you a free consultation. I'll teach you how to use it and get good at this in this
mhm,
class. That puts you in an area where you can have like a Shopify store, an Etsy store, but also a customer base that understands that they need to pay you a monthly membership in order to get the value out of working through Blender and CAD and Fusion 360 and Adobe with you.
mhm,
And I think that would be your easiest skill set. I mean, if you were to charge, yeah, I ran the numbers, right? If
mhm,
you were to charge 30 to 50 bucks a month for a skill like that, and there's so many upsells in between, you would only need about 30,000 customers, which is easy to accomplish
mhm,
to get 1 million a year off just that skill alone.
mhm,
And that's just one of the things that I thought about you. I thought that you'd also be good at having like a model boot camp
mhm.
and a do-it-yourself, do it DIY kind of like thing where
Could
you kind of
definitely
like
do that.
teach girls DIY things,
Mhm,
And let's just say it in like a perfect scenario, right? Because I'm kind of
mhm.
speeding up here because I know you got to go in a little while, right?
I'm
If
happy to continue the call when you have time this weekend or this weekend too.
I got you. So let's say I go to your link me, right? And it's for your
Mhm,
brand because Drew's already kind of built out and your brand, let's just say that it's called Drew Brand right now, right?
mhm,
So if I'm at Drew Brand and I know that she's giving me like a class or a master class or like preset videos, and I'll teach you how to make those kind of videos. I do them all the time. And I'm gonna be able to like for 30 bucks a month or 50 bucks a month learn how to work better with Blender and make things. I'm
mhm,
totally gonna buy that from her. But also, if I'm a pretty girl and she can put me through a model boot camp,
mhm,
that makes it easier to like let's say that you were just going to use just TikTok, which at
mhm.
this moment is probably the most popular app on the planet based on the president talking about it, right?
Uh-huh. I haven't really tried that yet.
I could teach you how to do that. It's easier than you think. It's easier than Google Ads. I use Google Ads and I made the money to do a lot of these things through Google Ads,
Oh, no way. Okay.
but Google Ads is more, well, you know how to use Blender and stuff, so it is more complicated. But you're already showing me that you're very quick to learn. So if I taught you that, you'd have a money making skill for a long time.
Good to know.
But I say TikTok is easier in acquiring the skill sets. You're probably also good at Snapchat. Snapchat has some good conversions too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're probably really good at that. And human beings stick to their nature, and I want to tap into your nature to see
Mhm,
how to get the best out of you. But
mhm,
again, if you were to get like at 40 dollars a month, 25,000 girls. And these are the long numbers, right? There's ways to charge more and have less customers, but if you're going to charge a little and have a lot of customers,
yeah.
you can spend a few thousand bucks, get 25,000 customers at $40 a month, and that's also $1 million a month. So you could teach again CAD, that's one thing. There's
Mhm,
another, that's how you display value. And that's
mhm,
another thing where I got to teach you how to display your offer and display
mhm,
value and communicate through value because you know how to communicate through portfolio.
mhm.
You're very good at communicating your portfolio. A lot of girls, what do they have on the internet now? That links to worthless stuff. I think you know what I mean by that. But yours is just all straight professional, professional, professional.
Like I said, my morals are a really big thing for me.
Yeah, right. Because a girl could sell her morals for upwards of a lot of money these days, but then her future is worthless. Whereas you've already identified you want to get married. It's a
Well,
different.
I have no issue with anybody that pursues a lifestyle like that. I'm not bagging on anyone that's their goal or that's what they're working on, that's their goals, that's what they're doing. But definitely not really my path, especially with the things that I have in mind for later.
Yeah, you're way nicer than me. No, but yeah, I meet them and they're good people, but they know that the morality they have sold out on their morality. They know that. They're cool with that.
Mhm,
And that's fine, but that's a different way of life. But you're value that goes down a path of no value. You're going down a path of tremendous value. It's a totally different thing. And then let's say that you were to charge like 25 to $35 a month for the DIY stuff, and I was running the numbers. Okay, so let's say, okay, CAD, you're charging 30 to 50 bucks a month. Modeling, boot camp, 25 to 40 bucks a month. Do it DIY lifestyle, 20 bucks a month to 35 bucks a month. If you charge 35 bucks a month on how to do interior design, DIY lifestyle,
Mhm.
DIY would include all the things that I've come to know about you, right? It would include the animal stuff. It would include your ability to like teach people how to draw and then bring something from product conception into
Yeah,
product
yeah.
fruition, which you that in and of itself is a blessed skill. $35 a month, 28,000 customers. Again, that's $1 million a year. So right there, I mean, these are okay. So getting to know you using the
Mhm.
formulas that I have in my head already, I came up with 3 items, right?
Mhm.
The 3 items are your masterclass in Blender, let's say, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Your master class in a modeling boot camp and then your master class in a DIY lifestyle, those
Mhm.
each one of those products, if they had 20, 30, 30, yeah, 30,000 customers per product, that's 1 million, 2 million, 3 million a year. So you're naturally at age 22, if you were able to condense from the core and work on your focus and push
Mhm.
your focus and your value out into the world, you're already making $3 million a year at your lowest level of engagement, at your lowest human ability, which is kind of how I measure things. Because if these are your lowest and you decide to go all in on your lowest and you make them your highest,
Mhm.
then you're just doing what Revenue Mentor says at the very top, scale profits. But scaling profits is also a discipline.
Wow.
Scaling is a discipline in the same way that going to the gym is a discipline. And
Mhm.
your natural skill sets are worth a lot of money, but like the other thing about it is it's not, don't look at the money more than your authenticity and don't look at the money more than your structure because with the authenticity and the structure and the discipline, your authenticity and your structure and your discipline naturally has that monetary worth.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you so much for talking with me about this. This is some great insights.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually, do you have, what are you on right now? It's Snapchat or Twitter or not
You can
Twitter.
have my, do you want my number if that's easiest?
I I don't say your number.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but I can send it to
I
you
do
through
have your number,
Snapchat.
but hold on. I'm gonna copy and paste some figures right here and I'm gonna throw it in Snapchat
Okay.
here.
But I
So
am so sorry. I probably do have to start taking off because I have to go get ready. But I would love to talk to you again soon.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna plan that out. I'm gonna
Okay,
clip these videos. I'm gonna throw some captions on them.
cool.
I'm gonna send them to you. Do you have WhatsApp, right? I'll
I
send them to you
do. Uh-huh.
on WhatsApp. It'll blow up your phone for a little bit.
Perfect.
But Drew, not only has it been super fun talking to you, just consider this like our little brief intro.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm literally going to help you go every last step of the way to make this stuff happen that I'm talking about because as you can probably tell like by the type of company I carry, I've made a lot of people elevate their life and
yeah.
you're in that professional network. You're in that arena. That is naturally who you are and I want to guide you there, man. I want you to be the
I'm
guru
I'm
you
so excited
possibly.
to learn from you. I mean, you are knowledgeable and professional, and I've been so impressed with your insights on things. It's been really cool to learn.
Yo, I appreciate that, man. I hope you guys are gonna have a good dinner. And
Yeah, yeah.
being said, you gotta at least promise to save me some like some dinner, man. Like, are you gonna?
Oh yeah, I got you. If you can get out to Maine, I got you.
Yeah, just save me a plate. You know what I mean? I don't work for dollars, man. I work for some scraps. Some
I
food.
got you.
No, but I do hope you have fun with your family or friends or whatever you got going on there.
Meeting a new friend tonight, hopefully. I'm starting to try to make a network out here. We'll see.
No, go out there, kill it, slay it, have fun, let people know what you're into. I
Thank
cannot wait
you.
to talk to you again, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to know you more. Thank you so much.
Yo, literally. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the recording and then I'm gonna let you go here in a sec. So let's see.